Hello subscribers, here's another review. This time it's the Schleich 2017 Conquering the Earth Acrocanthosaurus figure. Now, I know what most of you are thinking. Well, why'd you buy this figure? This is an outdated, ugly, inaccurate figure. But, for one, I am a Schleich fan, so of course I would buy it. Two, I actually like retro looking dinosaurs. I think they're actually quite cool, actually. And like some of you guys wanted me to review this figure, so I thought I wanted to give my opinions on this figure. So let me talk about like why people hate this figure. It's because of, well, like besides the shrink wrapping and then the incorrect skull shape and the oversized feet, but the posture looks like it came right out of the 1920s when dinosaurs dragged their tails on the ground. And also, like, it has oversized feet, but like, it has oversized feet and it's able to balance, so I don't know why they could have like made the tail upright. Like, if the tail was upright and had a more correct skull shape, then it would have been a decent figure. Probably a lot more people would have gave it like more positive opinion. But I don't know why they decided not to. Come on, Schleich, what were you thinking? So let's take a look at the detailing here. Detailing, not too impressive. It's like someone took a knife and like start carving scales, but it doesn't look too bad actually. It's not the worst detailing I've ever seen. See, the belly's got plenty of folds and creases. See, he's got the veins in the neck. It's fairly detailed. Also, the head is probably where the most detail is. Of course, it's got the very ugly shrink wrapping. And the jaw is movable. But I think there should be more teeth than this. To me, this Acrocanthosaurus kind of looks like the sharp tooth from the Land Before Time movie series. Like, if you look at it and compare it to some of the sharp tooths from those movies, you can see the similarities. So, like, if an Acrocanthosaurus were ever to appear in one of those movies, it would probably look somewhat like this. And, like, the paint job is pretty bland and boring. See, it's just got a light brown for the bottom, and most of it's just brown all over with a blue sail. At least they got the sail, though. I think it should be, like, a little larger. And, like, of course, the inaccuracies of this figure. Tail is too short. It shouldn't be dragging. The feet are oversized. The skull is incorrect. And, of course, the shrink wrapping. Also, the teeth, or the dentition, is incorrect, too. It also has a blue tongue for some reason. Maybe this is a genetically modified Acrocanthosaurus with blue tongue skink DNA. I always like to think of this as a genetically modified Acrocanthosaurus. So here's the. Let me turn him around quickly so you can see what he looks like. And let's go over the things I do not like about this figure. And of course, I can kind of let the posture slide because I like retro-looking dinosaurs, so I'll let that slide. The things I don't like is the oversized feet, the incorrect skull shape, and the shrink wrapping. Those are three things I don't like about this figure. But the things I like about this figure is the realistic rubber tight feel, the articulated jaw, and also how the arms in the correct position. So maybe Schleich will start. So like, hopefully Schleich will start making accurate theropod dinosaurs in the future. Also, is like the durability of this figure. See how like solid it is. Like as you saw in Camosaurus's video where he destroys this figure, you see how durable it was as it stood up to many of his methods trying to destroy this thing. And even after like when he fully destroyed it, its body was still like mostly intact with most of its detail fading away, but the body was still intact, so shows how strong this figure is. So yeah, that's the positive. Another positive about this figure and most of Schleich's figures that they're like very durable and they can like handle rough play. So if you want this figure, you could get it on Amazon, eBay, or Toys R Us. I think $20 is kind of overpriced for this thing, but it's a decent size, like 11 inches long. So I would calculate this around I think this is around a 135 scale. So let's go to other comparisons. Here we have a figure that looks somewhat similar to it, the old Carnegie Acrocanthosaurus. As you can see, they're both along the same lines, but this was released in 2001 and this was released in 2017. but I kind of like this figure better because it's slightly more accurate, even though it's like not really accurate at all. Well, yeah, this figure is not really one of my favorites. Not that good. Next up, we have the Safari Limited 2012 Acrocanthosaurus. And see, this is what an Acrocanthosaurus is. You see that, Schleich? See, the skull's more correct, and then the tail is raised in the air, unlike this guy who's dragging his tail on the ground. Next up, we have the Pterobibatat Acrocanthosaurus. And like the original sculpt of this was made 20 years ago, like in 1990 something. So weird how Batat can get it right 20 years ago. And this thing is like very accurate. And like Schleich makes an inaccurate one in 2017. Yeah, this is still the better figure. I think this is like my third favorite Acro figure, with the Wild Safari being my second favorite. Now let's compare this Acrocanthosaurus to my favorite Acrocanthosaurus figure. Let me fix the lighting quickly. The Papo Acrocanthosaurus. As you can see, it's just no comparison at all. See, Schleich, this is an Acrocanthosaurus. This is just an outdated looking Acrocanthosaurus. See, it even has an accurate skull shape, and these were released in the same year, so it seemed like Schleich tried to compete with Papo, but failed miserably. See, they're facing out, see who's the better Acrocanthosaurus, but we all know which is the better one. Oh yeah, and I'll be reviewing this guy next. So, my final thoughts on this figure. Of course, everyone hates this figure, but I sort of like it, actually. Because some of you may think I'm being too positive here, but like I said, I like Schleich dinosaurs, and I like retro-looking dinosaurs, so I kind of like this one. So, my rating on this would either have to be a 5.5 out of 10 or a 6 out of 10. It's definitely not the worst thing they've ever made. Like, of course, this is one of their least best efforts, but it's not the worst thing they've ever made. Because take a look at some of Schleich's old Replicasaurus figures, especially that Allosaurus, Ceratosaurus, and Uranosaurus figure. If you compare those to this figure isn't so bad after all. So, this is it for this review. The next review will be the Papo Acrocanthosaurus. So if you like this video, leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in that upcoming review.